The story of Louis Tewanima should never be forgotten by history. He was born into the Bear Strap clan of the Hopi tribe. His traditional name translates to muddy hips. He's a two-time Olympian, winning the silver medal in the 10,000 meter in the 2012 Olympics in Sweden. He's one of the greatest runners ever, but there's so much more to his story. His career as an athlete started in an unexpected and very traumatic way. In 1906, Louis, just a teenager, and all the children from his community would be kidnapped by the United States federal government. That morning, the United States government would raid the second mesa of the Hopi Reservation, round up all the children, and ship them off to boarding schools. Armed soldiers literally ripped these kids from their beds, shackled them, including Louis, and marched them away from their homelands. For years, the Hopi had resisted the United States effort to take their kids off to these federally run boarding schools. They understood the policy of forced assimilation, kill the Indian, save the man. They knew that it meant the end of Hopi culture. Just 12 years earlier, their refusal to comply with the US government landed 19 Hopi men in prison at Alcatraz. These courageous men spent a year on the rock simply for protecting their children. These men fought to keep their children out of these traumatic and abusive hellholes. That history should never be forgotten. These are the conditions in which Louis Tewanima landed at the Carlisle Indian Industrial School. This is where Louis's natural talent for running would be discovered, and I would even say exploited. Despite the trauma and hardships that Louis endured, his love of running was apparent. He went to Glenn Pop Warner, the head coach of the track and field team, and told him that he wanted to run. He would become a teammate of the great Jim Thorpe, and just 2 years later, he would compete at the 1908 Olympics in London. And 4 years later, at the 1912 Olympics, he would win the silver medal in the 10,000 meter, breaking the American record. That record would stand for over 50 years. It's not till the 1964 Olympics in Tokyo that the Lakota runner Billy Mills would break it. Throughout his competitive career, he would win countless meets and races, but really all Louis wanted was to go home and be a Hopi. And that's exactly what Louis eventually did. He went back home to his reservation and he lived out the remainder of his life as a traditional Hopi man. His achievements in the face of adversity bring honor and pride to the Hopi people. Every year on Labor Day weekend, they hold a run to remember his legacy. In Hopi culture, running is not a competitive sport. It's a form of prayer, a tradition. It's a way of life. It's an important part of Hopi ceremonial life. The Hopi run as a prayer for rain and all good things in life. Every abled young Hopi is expected to become a runner. It's a form of prayer and reciprocation to the land. It's a way to give thanks to the Creator. Let's never forget the name Louis Tewanima, his sacrifice, his resilience, and let's celebrate the fact that he never assimilated, he never lost his identity, and he lived out his final days as a true Hopi. Louis Tewanima is a hero who ran for his people and his culture. Let's not forget his name. Feel free to share the video, and as always, please share your thoughts in the comment section. Later.